Well, hello everyone, it's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Oh, it is July 2nd. Welcome back to Southeast Louisiana. That's right, folks. I attempt to do bees. I do bees. And remember, how I do bees is not a how-to video. I do not do how-to videos. This is a vlog. So that's what I always say, and I say it for a reason because, you know, I'm not here to do them. I have my way, and I do things, and I take suggestions and do different ways, but in the end, I'm just vlogging my season and walking over here to the trash can to throw out some trash. So anyway, I already been out and about this morning. Nice balmy morning here in Southeast Louisiana. I was out doing the not so glamorous side of beekeeping this morning. Take a look. Yeah, those are things that got to get done sometimes. And went out there and did both the out yards. You'll notice the out yard in town still had supers on it. I did not get all the supers off for that yard. I didn't get any supers off for that yard. I decided I'm going to wait on that until August. I have my reasons, but I got things going on and other stuff I want to do, and just not sweating that one right now. We got the whole honey harvest done. Otherwise than that, everything is done for now. And I will get to the honey harvest here later on in the video because we got some stuff we got to get done. So looking at the packages today, when I looked at, I just looked at the fronts, didn't look at them, just looked at the fronts and everything. Splits look good. I mean, the little splits, man, I look back and I go, oh, I should have split at least 5. My goodness, I just don't know. I kicked myself. I knew 5 were good. I don't know. I just never done summer splits and got a little nervous with them. And I've seen what beetles can do when the hive is weakened, and I don't know what I was worried about because there's no beetles out there that I've seen. I mean, there's beetles there, but like you don't open the hives and see 10 or 20 of them. You see like 1 every 5 hives. But everybody had bees on the front. The little splits had nice bees out the front, just hanging out. All the queens did take, by the way. One is a little sketchy. She wasn't laying that great, and I didn't go back and recheck her. But she had just started, so I don't know. We'll see. But everybody else is laying good, so they'll be putting in brood for the summer. They got plenty of food. I'm not going to feed them just because there's so much honey in those hives. I don't need them to start putting that feed away. And I'm not going to pull and put drawing frames because I don't have enough to put on there. So I'm just going to leave them with the foundation I gave them. They were finishing up the flow. They should have, I checkered a bunch into the brood chamber, gave them some drawing comb on some of them, and they should be good to go. So they looked good. Everybody's flying, and they really got to flying when I ran that weed eater across the fronts. So they're definitely healthy. Their stingers are healthy. That I can tell you. But what do we got to do today? Well, I'm going to show you what we got to do today. Hold real quick. I'm going to gather some stuff up, and we'll get on out here. All right, I'm done with my wax melter almost for the year, and it's just now getting to the hottest part of the year. But I did all my burr comb. I don't plan to have a bunch more burr comb. I will break it out again if I need to, but it's all taken apart and I'm cleaning it up. I'm actually put it away now. Man, it gets hot and melted. But anyway, I'm done with it. I'm gonna store it for now, but let me show you what I got. We're also gonna go over what I do with my supers, because everybody always asks me how I store my comb. Every year I do a video on it so I can just let everybody see what I do. Because again, it's a how I do, not a how to. But this has worked for me. Let's go in here. I do throw these in the freezer because there was a lot of brood comb in them. It still got a little piece sticking up where it dripped. So let's take a look. This is what I got. 2 nice blocks of burr comb and old honeycomb that I had laying around. Those are, pretty good size bricks. And so what I did was, it's all the old comb and old brood comb and stuff. So when I first started using this thing, I thought that the comb, it wasn't melting that good, because I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of this left. But when I grabbed it, what turned out to be was, it was all the comb still intact and all the wax had been melted out of it. It literally drained itself of its wax. The heat drained it, but the comb was intact because when I grabbed it, it crumbled. I'll show you another picture if I can find it of what it looked like when I dumped it. So that comb there is all crumbly and breaks in pieces. All the wax, I mean, there's some wax in it, but for the most part, the wax is out of it. Because it doesn't yield a lot of wax. That old stuff is just cocoons and such. Plus, there was a bunch of bird comb I stuck in there. So what I did was that each time I would collect the handfuls of wax that I would get, and then I put it all together and did one final whack. Took all the pretty clean stuff, bits and pieces and everything. I kept storing them in the freezer because it's a lot of it's old brood comb and the moths will go after it. And I turned around and melted it down and made those. So it's a nice little thing to have. I just kept it out in the yard the whole time. When I had wax, I'd throw it in there every so often, scrape the junk out and reload it, and worked out good. And I ran over it with the truck once, and it was easily bent back. So pretty tough, pretty effective little solar wax melter I got from Hilco, and I really like it. It's just handy, sit it and forget it kind of deal. Instead of sitting here boiling after the end of the year, boiling it all up, because we got a lot of cappings we got to go through. And I don't put my cappings in there because I just is not, that would take me, the sun doesn't last long enough to do the cappings I got. We got to do them in the big melter. So there you go. I'm gonna put it away though until I get more, if I get more. All right, so let's talk honey supers. I always get the questions, and I'm gonna answer them once again this year, each year, because I like to show people what I do with them, because it was a question for me at the beginning. And it's such a, there's a lot of things you come up with in beekeeping. You figure out that, oh no, what am I going to do now? One of them is storage of combs, storage of dead out combs. I'm getting shade here. What are you going to do with all that wax after harvest? That's another one that's always a big deal. How are you going to get all your honey out? Like, all of a sudden you got these hives, you're loving life, you're following the books, bees are doing great, and all of a sudden you got 4 or 5, 6 supers of honey. You're like, wow, that's a lot more than I thought I was going to get. And then you got to figure out how to get it out of the comb. There's all those different things that we wind up trying to figure out in beekeeping once we get into it sometimes. Because honestly, I haven't met, there's a few I've met that thought about things ahead of time, but very few that I met realized, hey, we're at this point, we need this, or we got to figure out what to do with this. Well, combs is one thing for sure that I know I had to figure out how is the best way to store them. Several ways to store them, but I do not like to store mine with paramoth. It's just because they're honey supers. I really don't want to. So what I do, I extract everything. When I'm done extracting, as I run across brood combs, I put them in this box that says B25, brood 25. This year's brood. These are brood combs. These had brood in them, or like a lot of pollen. This one didn't have much. But there's a, like that one, had some. Stuck in here good. That had some, you know. So this one didn't have as much, but what I do is I try to consolidate them all into as many boxes as I can. And so like now I'm getting to the point where I'll see one that says B24 from last year, almost the whole thing is brood. So when I extract it, even though it's brood from last year, maybe they didn't get in it this year, I still like to keep them all together. And what I'm going to do with these this year, and I tried it about 2 years ago and I kind of mismanaged it, but I'm going to do it again this year. What I used to do is just put all the brood combs back in this corner and leave them. And some moth will get in there and get after the little bit of brood that was in there, some of the pollen, but they wouldn't destroy the frames altogether. And that would be fine. But what I started doing, I'm going to try it again this year, is put these over excluders for the bees on strong colonies to keep them for me. That's what we're going to do today, is find some that I put on that didn't have brood in them and take those off. So I'll have to fume them out of there, get them out, bring them over here and store them regular, and put these on in their place, and they'll be over excluders. So then around December or November, when we get a frost or two, won't have to worry about wax moths so much anymore. I'll bring them back off and I'll store them over here, all of them. And we'll try to get all our colonies back down to doubles and singles. But this season my goal was to give the larger ones, anybody that had just a lot of bees when I pulled honey, since I pulled early, give them another super just to let them hang out and have some space. It helps them regulate temperature sometimes too when they're not packed. So how do I store the other ones that didn't have brood in them? Well, just like you see them. All right, I put them out here and let them get robbed here. And I just crisscross them so air and light can get through them, but there's not a lot of light getting through them. They do need to be under shelter. I figured that out a long time ago because I got moldy ones. But ideally, the way I've stored them before, and I don't do it now because I just have too many to store, is and I also got handles on some of mine that make it hard, but I'll store them like this. I'm going to store them one after the other. Air and light comes through them, and then I stack them on top. And they're pretty stable. As I'm getting rid of some of the handled ones, I could probably start doing this again. I think this is a better way, but I haven't had bad problems like this either. I just think more air gets through them this way. But in the end, I've got light and air, and I never have a problem with the wax moths. I don't put paramoth in them. I don't put anything in them. They store just like they are. These combs don't have brood. They're going to be fine. All right, that doesn't have any brood. It's gonna be okay. This is how I store them. Now, there are some that have little dots of pollen in them, and wax moths might get after some of that, but it won't do a lot of damage. So that's how I store my comb. Honeycomb, that is, now. And I've never had a problem with them storing them like this. I don't have a problem with clear supers being stored out here like this. This is how I store my supers. I'll do a video later and revisit these as far as how I do it, and the video will mainly be about storing brood comb. When we get ready to store brood comb for any dead outs we find, maybe in the fall, things like that, hopefully we're not doing a lot of it, but if we do, I'll show you what I do, how I do that, because that's been very effective for me, and I've tried different methods, and so far paramoth is my most effective method for brood comb in brood boxes. I don't like putting paramoth in these only because they're honey boxes. I don't know, just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't seem right, but it's not bad, and it's okay. It's like it's not recommended on the instructions or anything, but I just don't. If I can do it this way, why even spend the money on the paramoth? And I buy the generic off, Amazon. I buy with the right ingredient, active ingredient, parachlorodiabenzene. Is that it? No, paradiachlorobenzene. That's it. I buy the right stuff. I don't buy paramoth from like Man Lake or Dayton or anybody like that. I just buy it from online and get the right ingredient and put them in, and it works great. But it ain't cheap, and so why put it out in these? Because it dissolves in the heat, and I'll constantly have to replace it. Well, that's just extra I got to buy anyway. So another good reason I don't put it in here. I don't need to. There you go. That's how I store my comb and my honey supers. So let's go get a little work done. We ain't got a lot to do, but what we do got to do, we got to get done, and we got to do what we got to do. So let's go do what we got to do. So no real method to the madness here, folks. Just looking for where I may have put a super on that was not a brood super, and it's over an excluder. I want it over an excluder, and just gonna swap it out. You notice anything different? You probably noticed when I was cutting grass. All right, yes, I got a fencing veil. Now, why do I have a fencing veil? Well, I got away from these about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. They're very restrictive to me. I only use them for cutouts. I got an old Man Lake jacket I use for cutouts. The Man Lake's jackets are so heavy. I loaned it to a guy the other day, and he's like, wow, this is heavy. I'm like, yeah, it's heavy. Crazy heavy. But the reason I got away was it was heavy, it didn't breathe good, it just seemed hot. So I went to the veils and the round veils. When I got the Guardian round veil, I noticed it's very lightweight. I thought maybe it breathes better. So his material is so much lighter. Try it out, see if I liked it. What I can tell you about the fencing veil is I still am not a fan. Again, I only use them for cutouts because you got no room with a big brim in a cutout. There's one I can change. There's another one I can change. And so I just feel restrictive in these, and I like the big ones because I can look around. Now, as far as the Guardian, it's good. It's great. The glass is great, but again, I feel restrictive in it. But that's just me. I do like I can unzip this, but the glass will catch a little more sweat than my other one because it's longer, but it catches it down here. But I mean, when it comes to quality, it's definitely quality. So it's not Guardian why I don't like it. So I decided I'm gonna try it, but I think I might have ordered this for nothing. But that's all right. I mean, I'll find somebody that can use it, or I'll use it again. Maybe I'll use this for cutouts. That's an idea, actually. I can switch it out for a cutout. I don't do a lot of them, so that's why I'm wearing it. I'm trying it out, and so far so good. No, it's a spam risk. We're not gonna worry about it. So far so good. It's a great veil, as that goes, but I don't know if I'm a Fencingville guy. Maybe I've just gotten too used to the wide brim. But I'm gonna wear it today and we're gonna get this done. Here we go. Let's see. They're probably like, what are y'all doing? There's a beetle. Seeing beetles in this one. Haven't been seeing a lot of beetles. Man, they've already fixed this up. Look at this. Okay, I put this on. Oh my gosh. They've almost filled this thing with nectar, folks. They're starting to cap it. I put this on a week ago. Maybe I left that one on there. I don't remember. There were a couple that had nectar in them, so I left them. This has already got a B25. I don't have to change that one out. That one. So really, I've got them set the way I need them. I'll leave that one alone. It's over in excluder. It's not going to hurt. It's making honey. Maybe we'll pull a fall crop. I don't need a fall crop, but maybe we'll pull one. Let's look over here. That's got B25. This one doesn't. But this one had a lot of honey in it. Somebody's getting these supers. Oh gosh, that top is so hot. Well, these bees have filled these up too. This was a pretty giant colony. I want to check, make sure we don't have eggs up here, because the way we did this one, we could have left the queen over top of an excluder. This has got a good amount of weight to it. And they're completely working this one. I know this one was empty. Yeah, it still is pretty empty. So this one, I'm okay to take this one. I don't know, folks. I guess they're moving a lot up from maybe the second deep. Well, we're going to go ahead and fume this one. It's hard to get them off that honey when there's an excluder underneath. But we're going to sure give it a shot. And I'm going to look at another one and see if we can get in there. We don't want to open too much because we'll have robbing before we know it. This one over here was a nice one. This single, I can get this Ross round out of here. Let's see what they got going on. This is a new queen. So what I may do is definitely fume this one too. And we'll take a look at this one. And this, at least, I have a feeling this one might have done some filling too. This is not over an excluder though, so really not ideal for what I want, but they've, see, I'd like to take this one. Ow, I just pinched my finger. Give them that one back. So I'm gonna fume that one, swap it, and then that's what I'm doing. And I might look at that single. That's it, then I can be done. I just don't wanna go too long out here. We're gonna have robin, and we're gonna go look at a hive over there once we put everything away. So let me get this done, and then we'll go take a look at a colony. Well, this is the one I decided to go ahead and look at, folks. This was the one that when we were extracting, this is the one from the removal we did in Hammond, Louisiana. It's huge. So the other day when we pulled the off the super, there were so many bees, we smoked them, they all went in the air. I want to be sure we still got a queen. All right, we're starting to see some beetles now. So I'm going to fume this one. I'm definitely going to take this off and give them a brood one. This is a great colony to guard it for me. I just want to make sure there's no emergency cells in there. It's almost like it was a swarm. They wouldn't come back down after we smoked them off the box. There were so many bees outside. My hope is we didn't run the queen off. She shouldn't have been able to just take off and fly that long, that far. But queens have been known to leave and not fly very far and hit the ground, and then bees will gather around them on the ground, and then she'll be gone and she won't come back. But I didn't see that, but we never know. So I just want to look at them. But while I'm in here, I'm going to give them the brood super and let them guard it. Miracle Queen on the left there. And on the right is a nuke I made up and didn't end up selling it because the queen was so new I didn't get a chance to see her lay before I could sell it. And I said, well, I'm just going to keep it. It's too late in the season. And we can use that next year if everything goes well with it. All right, let's pull this off. Yep, definitely some honey. Boy, the wind coming off this thing is incredible. Wow. the air coming off these bees, it's blowing. I wish I had something to, here, look. Let's see if we can show you. Look at the leaves. Look at the leaves blowing. Look at that. The air coming off this thing is mighty. I see brood on this frame, on the next frame. Let me just see if we got any cells, or eggs even. Yeah, we got eggs in there. I don't see any cells. Let's look at this next frame and then we'll close her up. Of course, the queen's gonna slow down at this point in time. I see no cells. I thought I saw some eggs on the other one. Let's check in the sun here. This one, no cells or anything to be found. Now this frame here has eggs on it, so she's still all right. I mean, the chances were slim that she flew off in that bunch, but you just never know. It was just strange. I've never seen them when I smoke them like that. It was almost like a huge swarm in the air. And I don't know, they weren't coming back down. Like, we were out here for like 15-20 minutes on this side and they just weren't coming back down, so it was just odd. I just wanted to be sure. Better safe than sorry. Don't want to dig through them too much, because we don't want to harm any queens at this time of the year. There we go. And let's put this brood super on. There we go. That wasn't so bad, was it? Ooh, it's hot. I'm gonna go get some water, and then got a few other things I gotta do today. Wow. My veil was open. Did y'all see that? Ooh, it's warm, folks. Get over here in the shade, cool off, have some water. So for the honey harvest, we pulled right at 85. It was 86, I believe, but right at 85 supers. And as far as the honey goes, we got a good amount now. No record setter. Record set was just over 4,000 pounds actually last year. But we did about 3,500 pounds is what we did. So really happy about that. We're just shy of 300 gallons. Plenty of honey to get us on through to make up for what we sold already, finish out what we have left, and begin to get some back out there fresh and ready to go. So real excited about that. Praise the Lord for his bountiful harvest. You know, I'm just thankful. I'm very thankful for that. We work really, really hard to get the most out of every colony. We're basically milking all we can out of the least amount of colonies, because that's out of about 45 colonies. Of that, maybe 35 are really true production colonies. There's probably 10 out there that weren't making anything, probably less, more than that. So between 30 and 40 is what we made that off of. And if you average that out, we did 86 supers. That's a good take. But that's tallow too now. So that's not me saying I'm a good beekeeper. We're very, very blessed to have a flow like we do when that tallow comes in. The tallow is an extraordinary flow when it hits hard like that. It is unreal. We have our slow years, but a lot of times we'll just grow them and carefully watch them and keep them from swarming and manage them to where we can keep the colonies peaking at the right time. At that point, the tallow will do the rest for you really easily. It's not like we got to work it real hard once we get into like mid-May. We can back off and let them fill the supers. So it's been a great one, but we're not done yet. Let's take a quick look at this. I fully expect this to be a laying worker. What I saw with this was this is one that I recombined her and I didn't see a queen. Before I recombined it, I'm like, and I sold a queen out of here. And honestly, their populations went down. I left them alone. I can't lie. I left them alone. So matter of fact, I don't know what I'm gonna find in here. I think small hive beetles got in here. Oh yeah, we're loaded with small hive beetles. So this is a dead out. Loaded with small hive beetles. The larvae, I mean. I'll show you. They take these frames and freeze them. I'm gonna go do that. See there? Shiny, wet nastiness, and we should start seeing a bunch of beetles. I just saw some a minute ago. Beetle larvae, I should say. So what I do is I'll go freeze these and kill them. There they are. There they are. Alright, so no need to look any further. They definitely didn't requeen. Whatever happened to them, we're going to freeze these frames and call it a day. Well, there you go. That's all we're going to do with that one. I did take my hat off with the fencing veil, and it's a little nicer, I guess. But I'm still not a fencing veil person. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not. I gave it a whirl. I'm gonna go back to my wide brim. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna end this video on that note, a dead out. The story on that was, I had a queen in both sides. I sold the queen on the right. I went in to get the queen on the left. It was laying and doing well, no problems. And she wasn't there. There was no sign of a queen. I put them back together, left them alone. And I just never went back, to be honest with you. I really didn't worry about it. And I saw them dwindling, so I said, let's look at them today. And sure enough, not good news. But hey, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I'm gonna freeze those frames and save them. Then we'll bring them back out, let them get robbed out, and be able to reuse them before the wax moth get in there and get them. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure appreciate y'all watching. This is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. May God bless you. We'll see y'all later.